All right. All right, all right. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into another stream. If you guys are new here, in the morning we come in, we take a look at NQ price action. We see what's going on. We see what's happening here on the time frame during the overnight session. See what price can do going into New York session. And then we come back at the end of the day, we review. And today we're going to also review this day's price action or this past week price action because I did not do that on Sunday. So Monday, let's see here. Let's see here. Monday, right? We had this Asia session expansion. So going into that New York session, we're looking for potential continuation. Given that London session consolidated here, typically we say, okay, well, if price cannot displace above the London session high, then we will see a rejection continuation to the downside. So that's what our daily plan tells us. So this is what we were looking for initially for a rejection off this 5-minute, which we did get with a sweep of this previous 5-minute high here, and then rejection to the downside into the OTE of that London session, holding the 618 here, giving us that rise to the top and sweeping that previous daily high, then kind of just consolidating around that area. So then going into Tuesday, price opens up, we retrace into the 50% here and into this 15-minute fair value gap, rejecting to the downside, continuing down here below that 12-hour level of 29,962, and then going to the New York session, right? Similar price action here, except now we have this London session holding below the Asia session. So Asia session expansion to the downside, London consolidation. So going to that New York session, we're looking for a similar price action. We have a 5-minute fair value gap here at 9:30. Price opens up, rejects here, continues to the downside, going into it, sweeping these liquidities on the downside. And we're also bouncing between these 12-hour levels here. Then Wednesday, we bounced on this 12-hour level, gave us continuation to the upside, rejecting this range here. You can see, right, that rejection right there, given that downside here. Initial manipulation during the London session, there's a huge one, right? We're sweeping a lot of liquidity here and then bouncing back up above that 29,310. That was the level that we have been watching for a while. Expansion gives us some levels to the upside, which we do end up reaching that -4 right there. Seeing those 15-minute fair value gaps hold. So right at 9:30, I think, yeah, we see that run into this 5-minute fair value gap. Price cannot close above it here, so we're rejecting to the downside as well as this order block right there. Gives that rejection into the OTE of that overnight session here, of that leg that we got to the upside. As price is coming in here, we're seeing a rising big six, wherever that is. Oh, come on. There we go, that rising big six, right? We see that right there as it taps into this 15-minute fair value gap. Rising out of here, another little OTE here. As price retraces into here, it holds this 5-minute fair value gap, and we get that continuation to the upside. Going into Thursday, we had a lot of liquidity on the downside here, and this is something that we just swept over here. And a lot of liquidity on the upside right there as well. So Asia session consolidation, London session consolidation as well. New York, we were looking for potential reversals. So here on the 5-minute, we're tapping into this 5-minute fair value gap, get that reversal to the downside, sweeping this, tapping into a 15-minute fair value gap, which also lines up within the OTE here, rising big six after the sweep, reversal back into the upside, sweeping previous daily high and some of these highs right there. Right there's that Asia session high. Nice sweep. Right as that hourly opens up during the macro, we get that reversal. No sweep of the previous hourly high. We get that rejection back into the downside, into that 705, and then a bounce back up out of it. And then Friday, what do we have? This Asia session just bouncing on that 50%, continuing to the upside. That was that on Friday. And then, yeah, Friday was actually, yeah, I did not trade Friday. We had like this whack little rejection off this 29,962, continue to the downside here, sweeping this London session low, reversing back into the upside. Today, we had this initial opening, right? We retraced into this, filled the gap, reversed back into the downside, sweeping that previous daily low. Price kept on holding that below that previous daily low. So here you can see price came back, retested it, kind of consolidated around it here on Monday. No rejection to the or no displacement through it, then continue to the downside. Initial rejection here going into that New York session of this leg that we had here. So then we rejected that to the downside, swept some liquidity here, then going into the next hourly, we swept that previous hourly low about 15 minutes into this price action. This gives us that 15-minute manipulation to the downside and reversal back into that upside here. And then after that, we have the swing failure pivot, right? We're sweeping a lot of liquidity here. Once again, during the macro, we're seeing that reversal back to the downside. It's previous hourly sweep and then continuation here. Right now, watching this 29,310 level once again. We're watching this other levels. You can see we keep bouncing within this area, so we would need to break that, see a solid continuation into the downside to that previous weekly low, and that's what can push us below that previous daily low here. That will be the telltale sign if price wants to continue. We're back below that 1550 EMA, so that's something to watch against. That is our trend indicator typically. That is, yeah, previous daily low. As long as, yeah, price holds below that previous daily low, we will see the continuation to the downside. I'm going to mention one thing here as well. This retest of the breakout areas here, you can see that price broke down below here, came back, retested it, continued to the downside. Similar thing right now, retesting this area, continuing to the downside. And we're tapping into this hourly fair value gap where we had this previous area that's 29,310. That's that previous monthly 50%. CMG, nice stock, going to the upside here as well. Let's do a quick back testing, then we'll fuck off probably. Nice continuation here of that trend, right? Keep on making lower highs, lower lows. So next round, maybe 786 over here within this 12-hour fair value gap and hold above it to continue. And that's all we got. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. As always, make sure you go check us out. That's www.paperchurch.io. Come hang out with us inside the Discord. That is all you got to do. Just come hang out with us, see what we're all about, see what we offer. Go check us out on Twitter at the Paper Traders. Inside there, there's a link in the description that is going to give you access to that free membership, freemium. Once we reach 100 members for that, we will start doing these streams inside the Discord. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Love you, appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.